The 76ers, we said they might have a fire sale, and we brought up that Gershon Yabusele, Denver Nuggets, New York Knicks, and the Boston Celtics have interest in him. But Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, and Eric Gordon. Oubre has an option on his player option on his deal. So does Eric Gordon, and I believe so Andre Drummond. Caleb Martin's on a multi-year deal, and Gershon's on an expiring veteran minimum. Caleb Martin's a solid forward, combo forward, averaging 9 points, 43% from the field, 37% from 3, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and just over a steal night. He's one of the better defenders at his position, and his role has been reduced on this 76ers team, but he's on a very affordable contract that I think a lot of teams would be willing to trade for him if he's available. Andre Drummond remains one of the best centers in terms of rebounding in the league and even in history, averaging 7 and 7 and like 16 minutes a night, a steal game, and about half a block while shooting 50% from the field. He has cinder block feet. He's gonna get beat occasionally, but he is somebody that I think a lot of people are underestimating the impact that he can give you. And the thing is that if the Sixers really feel like that this has to be a transitional gap year, maybe they want to just pack up the assets because they know some of these guys like an Oubre is going to decline that option because he's going to get a long-term deal from somebody else. Eric Gordon shooting 43% from the field, 41% from 3, averaging 7 points, just under 2 assists a night, and a rebound a game. And the Sixers are looking to shake up the roster, and these are the ones they're saying could be on the move, according to my colleague Michael Scotto at hoopshype.com. I do think it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out, especially when you see that, yes, this is a team that, by all accounts, is in a situation that I wouldn't be surprised if, because of the frustrating season that had championship aspirations, that right now, due to the bevy of injuries that they've faced, they're the 11th seed looking out on the play-in tournament. And if they really do believe that it's not worth rushing Joel back, that the Sixers would consider selling off Martin, Oubre, Yabusele, Drummond, and Gordon. Numerous playoff contenders have gauged Martin's availability. Martin signed a 4-year, $35 million deal, and he's still been one of the most consistent 3-and-D swingmen combo forwards in the league. Oubre is averaging 15 points on 45% shooting and 5.5 rebounds and 1.5 steals a game. He has a 8.3, almost 8.4 player option, and he's someone that for another year has been able to replicate his success, which I felt like was something that he wasn't able to do because he was just really streaky with his inefficiency. Then the reason why Drummond's getting calls is teams that need a backup center are looking at Drummond, as he remains one of the league's best rebounders when healthy. And to me, I really do think Gordon, who over the last 12 games is averaging 11.5 points, almost 51% shooting from the field and 53% shooting from 3, as he's been playing almost 27 minutes a night. To me, I think he's the type of guy that teams who need a scoring punch and want a veteran help off the bench would benefit tremendously from bringing in a guy who can pass the ball, can put the ball on the floor, can defend a little bit, not like he used to, but still, and is a shot creator and is only going to cost you below $5 million. That's a good deal that I think any interested party should look into. And I get it. I know with the apron and everything that it's more difficult than it had been in years past to make a deal. And to me, I think the biggest question mark that needs to be resolved is, how do we look at the NBA and understand that a team like the Sixers would want to regain cap flexibility to take another swing at free agents in this coming off season? Because for the most part, outside of the ones that they messed up on, I think by and large the role players were solid. They fit, it worked. And the real thing that was a shame was Paul George and Joel Embiid's health. It wasn't the role players. And the worst part is that these guys are going to be so expensive now, the ones that do go test free agency, that it's not worth re-signing them, and you probably got to take another crack at it. So that's my 2 cents on the matters, and that's why I think it's an interesting one. But I do believe in Daryl Morey's talent evaluation, that he can go into free agency again and bring guys in. The Philadelphia 76ers have decided that they're going to be potentially selling, and that is, even though they're the 11th seed, teams are calling them and saying, hey, we're interested in acquiring some of your talent that is available. And if it is available, one of those players that people do want to get involved with is a man by the name of Gershon Yabusele. Yes, Gershon over here is somebody who I think is doing a really, really good job of putting themselves in a position to get paid. He left the NBA, went back to Europe, and I've thought he's done such a good job of playing to his strengths, playing to his roles. Sorry, I was looking over here at OBS and at the settings, and Gershon Yabusele so far this season is a multi-positional defender who can guard 1 through 4. He is an NBA level athlete, very good frame at like 6'8", 230. 10.5 points, 50% from the field, 39% from 3, 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists, just under a steal a night, and a half a block. And the 3 teams we're hearing are the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and the Denver Nuggets. All have interest in Gershon Yabusele. And Yabusele is a great combo forward who can stretch the floor with his 3-point shot. And if they really want to, some team, if they want to try it out, could use him as a small ball big.
I just wanted to add, after we made this video, that Mark Stein says that sources tell him that Gershon Yabusele continues to generate interest from playoff teams, with Philadelphia weighing offers that feature multiple second-round picks. Minnesota is the latest team. In that case, sources say, my colleague Michael Scotto at Hoops Hype, link will be in the description for more, both Mark Stein and Michael Scotto both reported Thursday and Friday that Gershon Yabusele is drawing interest from Boston, New York, Denver, and Minnesota. I would not be surprised if Minnesota is packaging Joe Ingles and whatever draft asset they can afford to give up for Gershon Yabusele, because Yabusele is making, I think, almost a little over $1 million less than Joe Ingles, and Joe Ingles is making a veteran minimum, so it's actually a league subsidized contract that doesn't affect the salary cap. Now let's get right into the rest of the video.
So to me, a guy like Gershon Yabusele, that the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Nuggets are all strong offensive teams that would benefit from having additional depth in the forward department, with a player who can play in the front court or out on the perimeter and guard several positions to help their defense, and also still be a guy who can give you some scoring on offense without needing the ball in his hand. And I think Yabusele's ability to play both inside and out make him an attractive target for a Denver Nuggets team that's 3rd in points per game, the number 1 field goal percentage in the league. They're 9th in 3-point percentage, but they don't take enough threes. And they're 10th in total rebounds, the number 1 assist team. While New York, on the flip side, outside of being the 4th best scoring team, their numbers efficiency-wise, 10th best 3-point shooting team, 18th in rebounding, and 12th in assists. I think getting a guy like Gershon Yabusele, who's going to fit the profile of players that Tom Thibodeau really likes, is someone that you could trade Jericho Sims for, and maybe a 2nd-round pick or 2 second-round picks and get. Boston, I do think you're going to have to trade one of the younger guys that you like, but if you believe that's enough, you bring back the guy you drafted. This is a team that, yes, is the 5th best scoring offense in the league, but they're actually the 10th worst field goal percentage, and they're middle of the pack in 3-point percentage, even though they take the most threes and make the most threes. 12th in rebounds, and the 10th least amount of assists per game by a team. So when you look at that, I think it's quite apparent that they would benefit from getting the size and the versatility that a player like Gershon Yabusele would give them. I think the Knicks and the Nuggets are the most likely teams to do this because they have the smaller contracts that they would want to move plus assets. I think the Celtics are just such in a juxtaposition that they have the same team, and this arguably might be the last year of this team because of how expensive it is. But I do believe that a team like the Nuggets, who maybe want to move Dario Saric or one of their younger guys, and Gershon Yabusele making a vet min, is going to be able to get traded for quite easily. And I think the Sixers would rather have the young talent that the Nuggets, or the expiring contract that the Knicks can offer in Jericho Sims, than anything that the Celtics can offer, because I don't think any of the players that they have would necessarily fit the timeline that the Celtics are on. So I think that's where it becomes rather hard if you are a team like Boston and are interested in Gershon Yabusele. I think it's going to be a bit difficult to get a player like him, even though I do think he is somebody that's going to be able to be effective in all three of those situations. And I think the going rate's probably 2 second-round picks. I think Philadelphia knows that he's going to be a guy who's probably going to get most, if not all, of the mid-level exception from a team, like 3 years, $27 million this offseason. So instead of losing him uncompensated, and they don't expect to compete for a championship with how this season has gone, it makes sense that they would go and get a guy like Gershon. That's how I would do it, in my opinion. That's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. And what do you guys think of that?